When he say move, you move just like that. What's up, family? What's happening? It's 6:30. Time to get a little sharper. Welcome to the Anti-Negativity Network. We back here again and make it do what it do. So you see who I got with me. So
hello, everyone.
So you know why I'm excited and why I'm smiling. Because I get to do this. It's Thursday and she's with me. So that's a double smile. So, hey, what's happening? Hope you're having a good week and everything is going well. And we're getting ready for the holiday season. But don't stress. Don't stress it. Don't stress it. Just do what you can. If you can't, look, don't even worry about it. You know,
not this year. No.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. You know, a gift don't say you love somebody. Okay, so don't stress it. Don't get yourself in no debt trying to make sure somebody got all these gifts, especially the kids, because chances are, you give them about a week and them gifts, they ain't even thinking about them gifts no more. They playing with the most simplest thing, like a box. The pots and pans, whatever, you know what I'm saying. And then we got some of the older ones, you know, just don't do it. Okay, enjoy each other, enjoy time, enjoy just the opportunity just to live life. How about that? Let's do that. Okay. But anyway, yeah, I ain't telling you don't give no gifts. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not about the gifts. It's not about the gifts. But anyway, that's not what we come here to talk about. We come to talk about, we come to talk about chapter 31 in Genesis again. And I'm not going to say we're going to get through chapter 31 again. Okay? I'm actually feeling like my late bishop when he was on Joshua. When he was on that for Joshua 1 for like 2 months. But it's so much in chapter 31 that I think we should be getting out of it. And chapter 31 is just good. It's good, okay? And so read it. Please go read it. Please go take the time to read chapter 31 for yourself, right? But before I go any further, let's do what we always do, all right? On the count of 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. So, yeah, we had to get that little deep breath right there. So, yeah, chapter 31. Where do we start? Where did you want to start, or you got?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so chapter 31. It's again, if you tuned in on last week, here we are with Jacob and Laban, and it's simply to the point now where Jacob knows it's time to go. Okay? Jacob said it's time to go. And he's been with him for 20 years. 20 years he's been with Laban, working, grinding, you know, just doing everything he was called to do and told to do as a good worker. He went through a lot, you know. He had his wages changed 10 times, right? You know, they've been making agreement on what they're going to do, and Laban come back and try to do something dirty and call it clean and try to flip the script without secretly, you know, which I want to talk about that secretly a little later on in chapter 31. But secretly, you know, Laban trying to do something and was just contrary to what they agreed on, because he's realizing that Jacob is changing, and Jacob is beginning to feel like, look, this is enough. I'm out. It's time to go. Matter of fact, they actually had a conversation about him saying, it's time for me to leave. It's time for me to go do something in a different place to take care of my family, right? And, you know, so Laban ain't really feeling that, because Laban realizes how important Jacob is to him and his own wealth, his own well-being, his own prosperity, right? And so he ain't trying to let that go, okay? But Jacob is like, it's time to go. And so then you had the sons in the background. Who knows? They might have been in Laban's ear as well. And so Jacob realized there's a change going on. And so he recognized that. And so then he goes and talks to his wives, and they like, okay, yeah, it's time to go. It's time to make this move. And so the first thing that I got to thinking about, and this is the one thing I want to encourage you tonight. We want to encourage you because we actually had this conversation, and I wanted us to bring this up again, but because she was all in my head this morning. But the unfamiliar, sometimes the fear or the uncertainty of the unfamiliar keeps us in the familiar. And that means we stay right there where we at, even though it's time to go. We want to go. We don't want to be where we at. It's not working for us. It's no longer doing for us what it once was. And in some of these situations, God actually even told you to leave. But because he didn't tell you, he didn't give you the end point before you made the move, you stay right there where you at. And then you wonder why you're frustrated. You wonder why you're irritated. You wonder why things are not flowing the right way. Because he's telling you to go. He's telling you to do. And you choosing not to. It is a choice. Come on, babe.
Yeah, like Ron said, I agree. We all crave for that familiarity. We like the same. Mm-hmm. We like to, like when you use that example, we like to, know the plans. Yes. We like to get off from work and know that we drive in this direction and we're going in this door and we're going to do this routine, etc. But as Ron said, sometimes we can get stuck there and not move on to the great things that God has planned for us.
Right. And you got to understand, you think about what Jacob was there for 20 years. Now, some of us can relate to that with our jobs. We've been there for so long. It's hard to leave. Why? Because I got all this time built up. I'm this close to retirement. I'm used to, I know what to expect, right? And God is actually trying to urge you to move on. I have something better for you, but because I've been here for so long. And so you look at Jacob could have been in that same situation. 20 years he was with Laban. So he knows what's going on. He knows how to handle his business, right? Even through all of the changes, all of the dirtiness, all of the undercutting, all of the wickedness, all of the changes that took place, even though we said we're going to do this, you come back and change it and don't even tell me you changed it, right? Why? Because he's trying to get, who knows what Laban was trying to do, but he was trying to do something dirty and call it clean. That's the bottom line, what he was trying to do, right? And because he's just trying to get over, in a sense, right? But because he understands he don't really want to lose Jacob because Jacob was his cash cow. He was the one, he was the golden calf, I guess you want to say. I mean, because Laban was one that liked to worship other gods anyway. But I just want you to think about your situation. You might be in some situations where you know this is not working for you anymore. And so what's keeping you there? What's making you decide, I'm going to stay right here and ride it out even though I really feel that it's time for me to go, or I'm not happy here. I'm not satisfied. I'm not getting fulfilled in this present state I'm in this place that I am choosing to stay in. It's not working anymore. What's keeping you there? What's making you stay there instead of making a move? Even when you have heard him tell you in so many ways and so many times, move on. What's keeping you there?
Yeah, I think sometimes too what keeps us there, I'm talking about myself, is just that that solid foundation too, because sometimes when you leave that solid foundation, as Ron said, you don't know what you're stepping into. Right. So that kind of make us stay as well.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was also, this is a little different though. Jacob Jacob, Jacob did all his trickery before he moved to Laban.
Yeah, he did.
And so then Laban did the same thing to Jacob.
Yep.
Which caused Jacob to experience life and become humbled.
Mm-hmm.
And
good point.
And 20 years later, he has aged, so he's not the same Jacob that he was when he was at home.
Very good point.
And
Very good point.
as a result of being older, wiser, and more experienced, it was time for him to move. Mm-hmm. Now, and that's why he came to that conclusion. I am older, I am wiser, I am better. It's time for me to make my way on back home.
That's a good point right there. Very good point. And so, all of that being said, and then again, I'm going to go to make this a little personal, just to try to drive this point home, and then we're going to move on. But, I look at our situation and the fact that, deciding to make this move to Maryland, I can sit here and tell you that wasn't an easy decision. Even though I felt it was the right move to make, there was a lot of back and forth goes on. So I don't want to paint the picture like it's just easy. Like it's just like God told you to move, so just do it. Okay? Some situations it is. But I'm going to tell you, there are some situations that there's some back and forth. There's some uneasiness. There's some uncertainty. Okay? Because God is not going to always give you the end of it. He's not going to tell you, okay, give you every step before you take the first step. Some of these things, he's going to tell you step by step. Okay? And either you're going to trust him or you're not. Okay? And so it really comes down to that. Are you going to trust him or are you not? Okay? But if you know that there's some uncertainty, in your heart and in your spirit and your soul and down to your toes, you just know that where you at, you're not happy and something has to change. Well, guess who has to change? It's going to have to be you. You're going to have to make the move, okay? Now, I'm not telling you what move to make, when to make it, how to make it. That's between you and God. You're going to have to trust him. But the bottom line is, if you know you're not happy, you're going to have to make a move. Good? Okay. All right. So look, we're going to keep it moving. I just wanted to, hopefully, I just felt like I had to say that. I had to tell you that, it doesn't matter how long you've been there. It doesn't matter if you can hear him telling you and feeling it, that it's time to make a change. Why not do it? I really believe that if you are connected with him and you feel like he's leading you to do something, he's not going to leave you. He's not going to fail you. He's going to make sure you're good. Even if you take this step and it's not the right direction, he's going to correct you and put you in the right direction. He's going to be with you every step of the way. I promise you that. He said he would do that if you just trust him. He said he would do that. You got to trust him. All right.
So, you got to try him.
That's the only way you're going to learn that he will do everything he said he would do is you got to give him a try. You got to, you just simply got to, it's that simple. It's just that simple. That's just, I'm trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can. I can't make it no simpler for you. The fact that you're just going to have to give him a try so he can prove himself to you. And once he proves himself to you, the next time going to be easier. Because I promise you, he will not leave you. He will not forsake you. He's not going to put you out there by yourself. Might feel like it, but I promise you, he's going to be with you every step of the way. And even if you make a wrong move, he's going to hurry up and correct you and get you right back on path. Because he's leading you to where he wants you to be. And your blessings, your joy, your peace, your everything is tied to him. So you got to trust him so he can take you where you want to be. And he's going to blow your mind. All right, let's keep it moving.
Where he wants you to be.
Where he wants you to be. Right, there you go. So now we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Okay. So now we're at the point. He has decided it's time to go. We out of here. And he does it without even saying bye. It's like, look, we up out of here, we gone. And here a few days later, I know some people like, man, that's nasty. How you gonna just up and leave and don't tell nobody about it? Well, sometimes that's just sometimes in some situations I can tell you from personal experience. I've done that. Like, ain't no need of me saying because if I tell you what I'm trying to do, you're gonna try to talk me off of it and talk me out of doing it. And now we right back to where and I don't need that. I made my mind up. It's time to go. I got to go. And sometimes that's what he felt like, right? Sometimes that's what you got to do. You just got to go. Just go. Okay? So he left, took his kids, took his servants, took his flock, and they gone. And a few days later, Laban realized, oh, wait a minute, where they at? So here he come. Yeah, Laban going after him. He going after Jacob. And like, yo, where you at? Like, no, how dare you leave, right? All right, and so this is where we at now. Come on, babe. I knew you had something you want to say about this one right here.
No.
Oh, I thought you had. Oh, okay. All right, so now we have, again, Jacob has left. Now Laban has finally caught up with Jacob. And now he addresses Jacob and he says, how dare, basically I'm just going to paraphrase. You can read it in chapter 31 yourself. But he's like, how dare you leave? That's just foolish for you to take my daughters, take my grandchildren and just leave. And then on top of that, you had the audacity to take my household gods. Now, so Laban is accusing Jacob of taking something, and Jacob is like, I ain't take nothing that belonged to you. Everything that I took is what belongs to me. Everything that belongs to you, I left that behind. Now, Jacob didn't realize that his wife Rachel had taken her father's household gods, which is Laban. Okay? Come on.
One of the things I wanted to say was Laban confronted Jacob as if Laban was a good person that didn't deserve to be treated like that.
Yeah, right.
How dare you do this to me when, he has done this to Jacob the entire time for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so, and Ron and I were talking about how people do that today. Mm-hmm. They try to make you feel like low or mess with your self-esteem by saying, how dare you do this or, to me, when again, they know that the reason why you did it the way that you did, or, that they didn't deserve a bye. No, just kidding. Just kidding on that one.
No, sometimes you don't deserve a bye.
But they like to switch the scenario around to make it feel as though, they are the victims.
Yeah, man,
and they're not the victim here.
But some folk that's always trying to play the victim role. They always the victim. Go ahead, babe.
No, finish good.
Yeah, so here you got Laban trying to act like he the victim. Okay? But he know that he took full advantage from the very beginning. He took advantage of Jacob. Because if you remember, the first time Jacob got there, he worked 7 years to get Rachel. And he knew. But the moment that it came time for him to get Rachel, after his 7 years of working, he gives him Leah. And then tells Jacob he got to work another 7 years to get Rachel. But because he loved Rachel so much, he went on and did it. But that was a conniving, nasty thing to do. Imagine you working 7 years under a lie. Imagine you work, now some of y'all probably say, I have. But how did that make you feel when you realize they done flipped the script on you and you didn't even know that? You working or you doing something or you've made an agreement and y'all are working or you doing something thinking this is going to be the outcome. This is what I have to do to get to that point. And then when you get to that point, all that done change. Everything that you work for, everything that you had set things up to do is totally opposite. How did that make you feel? So now think about how Jacob feel in this situation. And so now he's gotten to the point now, he's done finally said, we out of here. I'm gone. I'm done with all of this. Right? And then Laban want to roll up and want to make it sound like, well, you doing me wrong. Laban, you've been doing this man wrong for 20 years. Even though the trip thing about it is Jacob, hey, maybe this is what Jacob had to go through for what he did to his brother Esau. Even though he got the blessing, he had to pay for that blessing. Maybe this was his payment, was the 20 years of labor he had to give to Laban. Come on.
So moving forward, of course, Laban was going to pursue Jacob, and we don't know what his plans was to do with Jacob. But before he got to Jacob, God spoke to Laban.
Yeah, he did,
and said, don't do anything to Jacob. So he spoke to him, and so I was telling Ron, I said, even though Laban did not worship God, the God of Jacob,
right?
He knew when God spoke to him.
Yep. Yes, he did.
So we know when God really speaks to us.
Absolutely.
We
might push it aside, might not want to listen, might want to put a deaf ear to it. But he talking to you. Come on, man.
He knew when God spoke to him to leave Jacob alone, and he honored that, and
even with his household gods and him worshiping other little gods, he knew that God spoke to him and said, hey, you're going to see Jacob, but you better not mess with him. Leave him alone. And he heard that, and not only did he hear it, but he did it. He got up to Jacob, but he ain't put a hand on him. He ain't do nothing to Jacob other than talk to him. That's all he did. Okay? And so, the other last point I want to make, and probably gonna end on this. I don't know what time it is, but we're gonna end on this right here, because one of the things that I thought about right here when it came to Laban pursuing Jacob. Why would Laban pursue Jacob if Jacob didn't matter? If there was no value in Jacob, why would he pursue Jacob? So something I want you to think about. We're going to come back next week and finish up chapter 31. I knew we weren't going to finish chapter 31 today. I kind of told you that from the very beginning. But just think about that. What you're pursuing, are you pursuing it? Is there true value in what you're pursuing? You might want to check that, because you might be pursuing something that you really shouldn't be, because there's really no value, but you think there is. Just might want to do your homework on that. Think about that and make sure that you're not wasting your time on something, going after something that's really not worth you getting. Not worth your time, not worth your effort, not worth your energy. Time don't stop for nobody. So we don't want to waste it, because we don't know how much we got. So read chapter 31. But I also want you to think about that. Did God tell you to move? Has he told you it's time to go? Did he tell you it's time to make a change? It's time to go somewhere else? And then you also might want to ask yourself, is what I'm going after the real value I'm supposed to be going after? Is there value in what I'm going after? We love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us again on another Thursday. Baby, got anything else before we head up?
Nope. Pray, plan, proceed.
Oh my gosh.
Make it do.
No, stop. One of these days she gonna get it right. And this is my wife. Oh my goodness. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. We're gonna see you next week at 6:30. One of these days she gonna get this thing right. Y'all pray for her.